Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival. And so today I wanted to talk with you guys about food boredom, which is actually the wrong word for it. It's technically appetite fatigue or food fatigue. And I mentioned this concept recently in a video. I think it was like Food Preparation 101 or something like that. And there were a few folks who, were like, "Oh, that's crazy. You can eat just rice and beans just fine, and it'll keep you alive forever, and there's no problem with it." Because essentially, what I was saying is that just having rice and beans as a survival food storage, methodology and practice is a bad idea. You need to have more variety. And what I put forth is as a food storage method is, I'll just go over it real fast, and I'm going to try to keep this live stream pretty short. So you want to start with a 30-day food bucket. Take that, put it in the back of your closet somewhere, and forget about it. Okay, that's just an emergency thing. Most disasters will last, a week or two at the most. So one of those 30-day buckets is probably enough, for each person in your house or whatever. Then the primary thing that's going to get you through 90% of any kind of disaster is build up 1 to 3 months of your food supply that you eat regularly and rotate through that in your pantry. Okay, that's a core part of your food preparations, because you got to store stuff that you eat. But most pantries, you're only going to be able to hold about 1 to 3 months worth of food, in your house, somewhere in there, that range. I mean, if you got a bigger pantry, that's great. Do more. Then the third thing is you want to build a foundation of long-term food supply with dry goods, staples, and foods that don't go bad, rice, beans, oats, wheat berries, those kinds of things. And you can also supplement that as number 4 with getting additional staples from like the LDS Cannery online. They have a pretty limited selection, but it's fairly cheap. And then the last thing is get a variety of freeze-dried food bucket meals from various manufacturers so that you have a variety of recipes and flavors. Plus, they're all from different lots, so if one goes bad, they all don't go bad. But the key point here is, and then you've also got gardening, then you've also got hunting and trapping and all that kind of stuff. Okay, but the key point here is you got to have variety. You got to be able to make variety. Hey, what's going on, guys? And some folks weren't getting the concept. I think most everybody understood it, but there were some that didn't. So I wanted to take this opportunity to explain it a little bit more so that, folks get it. Let's see here. I've just got a few notes and I'm going to try to go ahead and follow. So some people take the philosophy that it's acceptable to only stock rice and beans. And that is really kind of what I want to talk about and explain to you why that's a horrible survival philosophy. Rice and beans are a great way to get a lot of calories cheap. And I do also personally stock a lot of rice and beans as a part of my foundational food plan and to supplement in with those other meals, those other free-dried meals, all those kinds of things. I also stock a bunch of it so that I can give it away to neighbors and friends and other people who are not a part of my immediate group. Okay, that's important. That's an important part of this. If you're stocking up for those who are in your group, so let's say you're stocking up for you and your family, and as well as anybody else who you think is going to show up to your house and is going to help you with security, they're going to help you with your perimeter defense, they're going to help you with all that kind of stuff. Hey, what's going on, guys? Then you want those people to be operating at peak levels of performance. And because your family, your life and your family's life is going to depend on their ability to think clearly, react rationally, and make good decisions. Having a varied diet that consists of a well-balanced meal is one part of being able to operate at your peak. We also talked about being hydrated in a recent video. We also talked about getting good sleep in a recent video. So there's a lot of things that you have to do, and having a varied diet is part of that. Now, let me talk a little bit about the difference between starvation and appetite boredom, or food boredom is like what I called it. So starvation is caused by a lack of food, Okay. And this is a physiological problem. This is a problem your body has. It doesn't have enough calories to function. It starts consuming itself, and it's just a bad situation. Okay. A starving person will eat dang near anything. Okay. Now, appetite boredom is a completely different situation, and it's a psychological issue that develops into a physiological issue. What appetite boredom is when, let's say, for example, um, you work at McDonald's and you eat McDonald's food all the time. Well, before long, McDonald's food will repulse you, and you will barely be able to eat it. There's a documentary done on this. I don't remember what the guy did. He ate only McDonald's for like a month. And at the end of the time period, he could barely eat any of it. And he was choosing all the different meals, all the different things that were available. Super Size Me. That was the name of the documentary. And so that's just one example. Okay. But imagine just eating rice and beans. All right. You have a constant access to a lot of calories. All right. And you eat it day in and day out, day in and day out. And I've experienced this personally. And I was talking to somebody in the comments about this. You know, when I was in college, I tried eating just ramen for just a week. And by the last day, I could not eat one more bite of ramen. I mean, it was disgusting. I was like, ugh. And I will also say that this condition may not affect everybody. All right. It's not necessarily, it's not a universal thing. There are some people it may not affect. It tends to affect young kids and older people even more so than people in the middle age ranges. All right. So it's not necessarily that it's going to affect everybody. And I will also say that people who were raised on a particular diet that consists primarily of these things don't generally have as many issues with it. Okay, so if you were raised in a situation where rice and beans is the majority of your diet, then that's all you've ever known. So your psychology it's not going to affect it the same way. However, if you've been raised in a situation where you have a wide variety of foods, this can be a serious situation. And unfortunately, your mind is a very powerful thing, and it just does not allow you to consume the required calories to keep you healthy. So some of the symptoms that you can experience with appetite fatigue are your stomach just turns at the thought of eating a particular food after you've had it for so long. Okay. And you're just like, I just can't eat any more of these rice and beans. Prisoners have had, there's been lots of studies on prisoners that there have been riots and stuff like that caused in prisons because of poor food quality and the same foods over and over. The smell of the food actually makes you ill. You actually vomit after eating the particular food. You put it down, but you can't keep it down. You start to develop digestive issues like cramps, diarrhea, stuff like that, and you can experience hair loss, weight loss, and muscle loss. And so this was all taken from an article done by homesteadandprepper.com. I have about 7 other sources that talk about this and talk about the fact that a lack of food variety will trigger weight loss. Okay. And that's what we're talking about here. So what happens to somebody who eats just rice and beans only for an extended period of time? If they're susceptible to this psychological condition, they're going to slowly eat less and less. Their stomach is going to shrink. Their body is going to go into starvation mode and start consuming its own fat and its own muscle eventually. And in the recent video that I did on starvation, because that's essentially what we've done, we've taken a psychological condition and now we've turned it into a physiological condition to where now we're starving. So some of the symptoms of starvation are, tiredness, withdrawal, faintness, apathy, dizziness, weakness, dehydration, severe headaches, listlessness, depression, hallucinations, blood pressure drop, slow heart rate, hypertension, thyroid malfunction, abdominal pain, temperature, body temperature fluctuation, increased susceptibility to disease, shrinkage of vital organs such as heart, lungs, ovaries, testes, and gradual loss of their functions, chronic diarrhea, anemia, reduction in muscle mass, consequent weakness, lower body temperature combined with extreme sensitivity of cold and hypothermia, decreased ability to digest food because of lack of digestive acid production, irritability and difficulty with mental concentration, immune deficiency, swelling from fluid under the skin, decreased sex drive, organ failure, heart attack. All right. And so essentially, your body starts to break down, your immune system becomes compromised, you catch a disease, virus, bacterial infection, or other autoimmune disorder, and in a serious disaster where there's a lack of medical personnel to treat these issues, the person will likely end up dying. So that's what I'm trying to say when I tell you rice and beans only can lead to death. It actually can. Okay. This is not a made up thing. This is a real psychological condition that can turn into a physiological condition. So food variety is important. Let's see. And, here's that beyond all that and the extremes of going to the point of dying and all that kind of thing. The more important thing I think is that you want your team to be able to operate at a higher level, than just what happens when you just eat rice and beans. Imagine this. I think about this for a minute. If you and your immediate family, let's say, well, I'm prepping for my immediate family and myself, and we've got lots of different stuff, but I've got all rice and beans for all the other people that show up to my house, and that's all they're going to get. Well, that's still kind of a iffy situation because, here pretty soon they're going to see that you're eating good and you're fat, dumb, and happy over here with all these other nice foods, and you're going to have immunity on your hands. You're going to have to deal with some serious interpersonal conflict, and they're going to be looking at that case of fruit cocktail you got over there, and they're going to want to take it. And so you're going to develop problems within your group just because of the disparity between the two. So I just don't think it's a good idea to stock just rice and beans. Like I said, I think it's a great way to get a lot of calories on hand to be able to give to family and friends or neighbors or whatever the case may be, people who are outside of your group. When they show up and they're hungry and they're starving and you want to give them something to eat, this is a great way to hand out things and be able to give to people. Okay, I stock a lot of it myself. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with it being a foundation, to add to, to increase the caloric density of the foods that you're eating. I don't have any issues with that. I think it's smart. It's smart to do that. But you've got to have gardens. Got to have seeds for gardens. You got to have, a variety of foods stocked up. Got to have a pantry that's fully stocked. You got to have, I think the freeze-dried foods make a lot of sense as long as you catch them on sale. Okay, I don't advise that you guys buy them at just the regular manufacturer prices. If you can catch them, depending on the manufacturer, if you can catch them on 30 to 60% on sale, which most of them regularly have those things on sale, then you can get them at a pretty good cost differential. But don't buy them just, regularly, just on the regular prices. You really should look for sales and stuff. So anyway, that's my little spiel. Like I said, links in the description. There's lots of different articles there that talk about how how having no variety in your diet will lead to significant weight loss. There's also a few of them that talk about appetite fatigue as a psychological condition and all that kind of thing. So there's and some people will say, well, there's people in famines get fed rice and beans all the time and they end up surviving. Again, small portions of people may not experience that condition. Maybe they're strong enough mentally or whatever the case may be, or maybe they just are used to eating a very low variety of foods and they can eat those. But I'll also point to you that thousands of people in famines end up dying. And why do they die? And there's food available because all the aid organizations and all that kind of stuff send food in, but they don't end up eating it. Okay. And I've sat in third world countries and talked to people who are eating UN rations and who have just told me that their children will not eat it anymore. Their parents passed away because they stopped eating. They had food to eat, but they didn't eat it So it's a real condition, and it's not a made up thing. So my point to you guys is plan for variety. However you do it, it doesn't make any difference. If you want to use our affiliate links down in the section below, that's awesome. I appreciate it, but not mandatory. You know, I don't care one way or another. I just want you guys to make sure that you plan for variety. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and check the comments real quick. I'm going to have to get off here in just a few minutes, so I'm not going to be able to stay on very much longer. We've got some friends coming over who are going to introduce their dogs to our dogs because we're going to be house sitting them for a while, or watching the dogs for a while. Okay, if you guys got any questions on this topic or anything else, just try to go ahead and put them in real quick in all caps, and I'll try to answer them. Let's see. And like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. Bumblebee Junction says proof that powdered eggs cause insanity. Yeah, that's funny. Let's see. All right. You guys are hilarious. All right. So yeah, I don't see any questions from anybody right now. I'm just looking through the chats. So I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys hopping on with me. I just wanted to get this out there. It's sometimes easier just to do a quick live stream than it is to have to record it and edit it and then publish it and all that kind of stuff. And you know, it ends up being about the same to you guys. So if it's a little less work for me, then I'll tend to try to use it from time to time. So anyhow, thanks guys for watching. Oh no, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you this this kit. So do you guys have anybody in your family who wears glasses? If you do, this is kind of a cool little kit that I found on Amazon. See, my wife wears glasses, and what this is, I don't know if you can tell or not, it's a small kit that has a whole bunch of eyeglass screws of different sizes and varieties. I think it says it has over 1,000 of them, although I can't believe there's that many of them, but that's what it says. And then like it's got like 250 different styles of like nose pieces for glasses. And the whole kit was only 13 bucks. And so I thought this was kind of a cool thing to stock up on if you have somebody who wears glasses in your family. So there's an Amazon link in the description below if you guys would like to take a look at that. It seems like a pretty cool little kit to have in your preps for those people with glasses. So anyhow, guys, like I said, I always appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter, and any other social media that's out there. And don't forget to live 6 Ps. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys.